We're not sure yet. I think many citizens in Arab countries feel that there is a certain futility in using demonstrations to express their anger. They tried this in 2011 and 2012, and they are looking around them and seeing what has happened. Mass demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations, did not lead to change, a significant change in most countries around the region. And in fact, the backlash has been quite brutal in quite a few countries. So we still don't know whether the reaction to the decision of President Trump to move the embassy to Jerusalem will remain muted, or we will see something else emerging. While the reaction until now continues to be containable, my perhaps main one concern I really do have is that this will strengthen hardliners and will empower their rhetoric even further in the region. And allow them to marginalize more easily the more liberal, the more, if you want, the more liberal voices, the more moderate voices who are trying to find a peaceful solution to the different challenges that the region is facing. The other, I think, significant outcome of the US recognition of Israel, even though the reaction until now has been somewhat, continues to be somewhat muted, or not muted, but quieter, is that frankly it's placed the Palestinian-Israeli issue back on the international scene after in the past 7 years. Interest in this and focus on this issue had waned, particularly in view of everything else that was happening in the region. So this has placed refocused attention on this very crucial issue as central to the stability of the region. With this action, the United States has effectively undermined the ongoing, or what was left actually, of the Palestinian Israeli peace process by taking a decision on an issue that was left to the final status negotiations, that is, the status of Jerusalem. The United States has taken a side and undermined its own credibility as if you want, a neutral broker, even though it wasn't seen as playing that role for a very long time. But with this decision, it is now perceived as having completely taken the side of Israel. More critically, I think also is it has completely, I would say, destroyed what was left of the two-state solution. So perhaps now we need to start thinking of a one-state solution. We need to start thinking for an alternative framework to think about the Palestinian-Israeli, an end to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, how that can come about. One-state solution is one possible approach that is being put forward by many. The Palestinians have very little options, unfortunately. They can continue to push diplomatically and rally diplomatic pressure around this issue, whether with the European Union or with other countries that are sympathetic. Already the outcry that we've seen at the international level in Europe and across Europe, in the Security Council, and in the United Nations, across the board, there's been a very, very strong condemnation of this act by President Trump. So I think the Palestinians can perhaps capitalize on this to bring diplomatic pressure to bear on this issue to continue. Basically maintain diplomatic pressure. That's one. The other thing they can do probably is basically announce the end of the two-state solution themselves and say, with this move, the two-state solution is dead in the waters, and maybe we do need to start thinking about other approaches for ending this conflict. One thing is very clear, and this is based on work that we at Carnegie have done, is that for younger Palestinians, They no longer even care about the one state versus two state solutions for many younger Palestinians. The key challenge for them is what governance framework is going to guarantee their basic rights for them, whether they are living in the West Bank or whether they are living in Israel proper. As Arab Israelis living in Israel and as Palestinians living in Palestinian occupied Palestinian territories, their main issue is who is going to guarantee our fundamental rights and freedoms.